Welcome everyone to episode 10 of Electronic Talks podcast. My name is Johannes. I'm your host today, and today I have a very special guest coming from the company Teenage Engineering. It is Tobias von Hofsten. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
How are you doing, man?
I'm very well.
Yeah.
I was just saying, in my world, there's always a parking space right by.
Yes.
So we found a space right by here.
Excellent.
Very easy.
Yes, and we were so happy that you could bring so many things to look at today. We have a variety of products here from Teenage Engineering.
Yes, it's many small things.
Yeah.
So I carried some of this here. It's a pleasure to be here, and let's find out what we can talk about.
Yes. Could you tell me a little bit about the company? Like how long has it been running, and could you tell us a little bit about the kind of start of it?
Right.
Yeah.
So publicly, 10 years ago, we released the OP1.
Yes.
It wasn't our first commercial product. We did a lamp as the first product for sale, the studio system lamp. But this was our first music instrument. Mm-hmm. So that was 10 years ago. And then the company was very small, founded by 4 friends and some other people as well in the beginning. And then to fund the development of this, they did some external assignments, such as designing commercials for Absolute, and designing for New Balance, the shoe company. Did some commercial work, basically.
Yes.
And then releasing the first product, or the most well-known product so far.
Yes, the OP1. I think that's how I got introduced to Teenage Engineering as well, when I saw that, and the OP1 popped up in music videos here and there, and many people wrote about it on the internet, and it got a lot of hype, and I was always so intrigued, and you see that on the table here too, because it's like there's the audio element, but there's also the visual element. There's the element of play and improvising, and that's what I think is so fun about these particular synths and modules.
Very much so.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesper, our head of design and CEO, Jesper Kautoft, is one of the leading designers in Sweden.
Yeah.
And one thing that he has taught me is that if just holding a product from or looking at a product from a distance, if you can tell what it is, then it's a good design. That helps if it's very visually not outstanding, but visually
comprehensible, or
something like that.
No, but I really, that's what I love about it. It's colorful and it's playful, and it's not like a boring hardware company, and it feels more like it's more open to an audience that might not be into the classical kind of drum machines and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah.
So many of the people working at Teenage Engineering has gaming backgrounds, and that's a philosophy we take into the design of the instruments as well. That it should be more like playing a game than practicing the piano very traditionally. So it invites playfulness. It invites new way of thinking, and it invites questioning what the heck is this, and how can I use this? So it invites curiosity.
Yeah, I really love that. And wasn't that kind of one of the starts for you in music too, that you were making music on Game Boys and so on? Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Right. I've always been fascinated by rhythm, and I made electronic music mostly. And so I've always used different kind of non-traditional instruments and very electronic instruments. So as you said, I used the Game Boy to make music in the early 2000s.
Yes.
And that was my connection to Teenage Engineering as well, because the developer of the Game Boy cartridge Little Sound DJ was eventually working on this thing.
Okay, the OP1.
So, exactly.
Yeah.
So Johan Kotlinski brought me on to the Game Boy as a music instrument.
Yeah.
And then a few years later, I was invited to alpha test the OP1.
And you had already been, you'd had your own group playing on Game Boys. You had a career as a DJ as well by that time, and even a record shop.
Exactly.
Is that correct?
Yeah. So I grew up in a small town in Skåne called Röstånga, and the week after graduation, I moved to Copenhagen.
Okay.
To follow my sister who was living there at the time, and go to techno parties and such.
Yeah.
And I was very dedicated. So I wanted to finish school. I wanted to move to Copenhagen. I wanted to make a record.
Yeah.
So I was very I had a one-track mind, basically. Yeah. So I did that. So I released my first record, and that got quite some attention in my small little underground world. I did a 300 copy own production.
Classic. Yeah.
But that got me invited to New York to work with Neil Landstrom, a techno hero of mine at the time, and still. So I spent some months there, and then after that I moved to Stockholm to open a record store, which was illegal Stockholm, together with Per Grindvik, who now lives in Berlin.
Yeah.
And we were such soft guys, so we needed a hard name. That was the
right.
But also my motivation for opening the record store was my experience was that whenever I was buying records somewhere, you had to kind of know the guy behind the counter to get help or to be accepted or to be, and I didn't like that feeling or that. I didn't like that way. So I opened my store with the ambition that everybody would be accepted and get help. So if it's a grandma buying records to, basically accepting everybody. That was a fun place, fun time. And it was kind of the dip of the vinyl.
Yes, when the dip, and then now we have the rise again.
So,
but
anyway, so I met a lot of people in the record store. So Johan Kotlinski, David Eriksson, who's head of hardware, used to come in and buy records as well. So that's where my connection started. And I was very forward. So if there was somebody I wanted to get to know, I was, hey, how you doing? Just introduce myself, and everybody knew me from the record shop as well. So
So then you, through that connection, you were invited to do the alpha test of the OP1.
Because I put out some music, they liked my output, and they knew that I had worked with Game Boys and whatever, and it was. I remember first time coming down to I usually call it the dungeon, the garage at Katarina Bangata, the first place that we had. It was Ferraris and Lamborghinis and office desks and very raw industrial vibe with things like this to spice it up. So it was nothing like I've seen before. And I really got intrigued. And I was sat down in front of this without any instructions and just had to figure it out. So that was my first contact with the OP1. And then I ended up buying beta number 45, which is this unit here.
This unit here. So that's one, you've had that that must be 10 years or something.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's still it runs the latest OS. I use it every now and then, and I brought it here to demo. It has a slight different finish. The coating is slightly different, and then the logo or the OP1 isn't printed on it. So I put my own stickers on it instead. But yeah, it's the same 10 years ago as it is now, basically.
That is excellent. And that also speaks to the design language, that it has a lot behind it before going into production.
Yeah. So I think it was about 3 years of development. And then I came in right where we were starting to sell it, basically. So I wasn't part of the development process too much, but then I started.
So to the listeners that don't know, could you tell them a little bit about the different things you've done at Teenage Engineering and what you're doing right now?
Yeah. So I started as part-time support, doing support work from home. And then eventually I was working more and more from the office, and then I ended up working full-time at the office. I had quite a few other jobs that I could tone down and then go full-time at Teenage. So that was my position as the human spam filter of Teenage Engineering, because I got all the inputs from people, and I love that position very much. And then we had one product, so that was quite easy to do support.
You could master that one.
I could,
it was fine.
So 5 years later, we have a bunch of products. But it's still quite a small team, so it got a bit tough for me. I love the personal connection I get with customers and everybody. But at one point, I was realizing, no, it's probably not a good idea to offer 24/7 support.
All right. When most of those lines go to you.
Yeah, exactly. Or I mean, So I had to cut down a bit, and then I tried a few other positions. I mentioned just before that I was briefly head of sales for the music instruments, not the speaker side of our products, but the music instruments. But I was at that time I was still doing support, so I was kind of having two roles, and it was interesting. But I gave myself a demotion quite soon.
It was too much.
It was too much. But now I'm head of education. And a big passion in my life is to create understanding and I'm quite I'm gifted at making complex things seem simple. And I have the ability to inspire. I have the ability to empower others who may not be familiar at all with electronic music making or anything, or like I said with the record store, you don't know me, but you're welcome anyway. So I'm kind of inviting in that way. So I think that has helped me to reach out. In this role,
definitely.
And now I'm realizing, as head of education, I now need to bring in much more help. So I can't do everything myself. So I need help from the community, help from different writers, help from content creators, help from artists, whoever wants to contribute. And that's
it becomes
so
more
much
of a community.
Exactly, and it's so much more interesting. I mean, we love the products that we do, but the use that people put into it, that's what gets us going. That's what's amazing with the things we make. The tools, but the magic is created.
The creators.
Yeah, exactly.
That's super exciting, and I think that's why why it feels more empathetic as well. And could you tell us a little bit more about kind of the journey of the OP1? If you go from year one until now, like it's had the same form, but there's been a lot of. Could you tell us some like highlights along the way?
Yeah, I mean, I remember in the early days we used to assemble everything in the garage in Katarina Bangata. So it was made in Sweden. We have some factories in China, so forth, but the final assembly was made in Sweden. And then we packed and shipped everything from our own little place, which was great fun, but also very challenging. But it's been doing very well. I mean, our biggest market is US and California in particular.
Okay.
LA.
Yeah.
But and I know Japan has been very big always. And I mean, this is our first product, and it's kind of a premium. So we started with the premium one.
Yes.
And we don't want to exclude people just based on money.
Yeah.
So we thought about how we could make something more accessible to people. And also we needed to diversify or to have other things to sell because it's whenever you're gonna make something, whatever can go wrong will go wrong. So that's not a what if that will happen, and then you have to solve it. As you can maybe hear, I'm not very into the manufacturing processes, but I know that is the case at least. So we needed something else as well. And we thought maybe we could take small isolated functions from the OP1 and turn it into something more accessible, something less costly. And we had a good friend who was working at Cheap Monday, Ann-Sophie Buck. And together with her, we came up with the pocket operators.
The pocket operators,
exactly.
And maybe we could show one of them a little bit to the camera.
Exactly. So these are small battery-powered handheld sequencers. And I prepared mine here so I can easily take it up. And we have 9 of these now. We started with 3: the rhythm, sub, and factory, which is drums, bass, and melody. And it was a test to see how we could make something really high quality but super low cost. So this is basically the insides of a product. This is the PCB, the circuit board, and then a display and some knobs and buttons. But there's no casing, which would be the standard way of releasing a product. But this is what we decided.
How many versions do you have until today?
Currently there's 9 official ones, and then some collaborations. So this is the Mega Man one, the PO128, made together with Capcom, and then we have the Street Fighter PO133.
I was so excited about this release, since many of us grew up with these games, like how did that come to happen, that you collaborated with Capcom? You mentioned before the founders having a passion for gaming.
Exactly. Some of our people have been working at companies such as EA, for instance, Electronic Arts, and also they've had this company called NetBaby, which was a early Swedish app developer, very much before their time. So the mobile game industry wasn't a thing yet. But so we've always loved games and gaming, and so this is kind of our homage to the Nintendo Game & Watch. And it's been a lifelong dream of Jesper to be able to design his own custom LCD screen. And so we did that. And the first 3 ones were successful. I know that the first day we sold out, and it was a pretty big upplaga edition.
That's amazing.
So we could develop that further as well, and along with that, continue to develop the OP1. So still do software updates, still do some hardware revisions, because some components 10 years down the line, it's end of life. So especially the display, since we are such a small company, we cannot order in quantities as Samsung or Apple, or so the display manufacturers are just laughing at us. But since we've been vårda relationen, we've been
you've been enabling those relationships
Yeah,
to
yeah.
grow. Yeah.
They've been interested in working with us still. So
That's great.
yeah, it is. So that's why we could keep the form factor as is.
That's amazing.
And still be compatible with the old units. So I'm
So-
not sure how many revisions, but yeah, the most important thing is that it's compatible.
Yes, exactly. And then also here on the table we have the OPZ
Right.
and the POM 400.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pocket operated modular, and I was a bit surprised when I first saw this. We have 10,000 ideas.
Yeah.
And so it's not everything turns into a product. But when I first saw this one, I was okay, pocket operator. That's interesting because I'm used to these.
Yeah.
But so the name is more in the spirit of the pocket operator. So it should be simple, should be low cost, should be high quality, should be hands-on, and that's what that came to be.
Maybe we can show the listeners just a little quick sample of the sounds of the.
So I'll start here by pressing play. I've been saying also I haven't released much music. I said before I was making a record and stuff like that, but lately during the last years I haven't put out many records.
Yeah.
Instead, I've been making preset sounds and music in the machines.
Oh right.
So I've been releasing a bunch of stuff.
Yes, just it's hidden within the machines.
Exactly.
Yes.
So my vision in life is to communicate love through machine.
Excellent.
And it's a wonderful way for me to be able to do this. So this is some of my presets, which I urge you to, as soon as you get it, okay, you can listen to it, but then delete it, and make it yours. So that's what I hope to.
Excellent.
So right now it's going through the line out into the mixer module here in the 400.
Yeah.
So I'll just see if I can get some sounds out of that as well.
Okay.
So right now I have a sequencer going into square module, and I have some connections here from the LFO to the square. So it's a modular synthesizer.
Yeah.
So you have to patch your own. You have to make your own patches. So it doesn't make any sound if you don't connect the cables.
I see. Yeah.
And this is nothing new for modular. People are used to modular synthesizers, but our customers, many of them, this is the first time they're seeing electronic music making, and it's first time they see a sampler. Maybe it's first time they see a sequencer.
Yeah, maybe we can turn it down a little bit.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But I love it. I love the the tactile function of it.
Yeah.
And as you see, this one, it requires a lot of experimentation, right, for a beginner.
It doesn't require. Well, it requires that you make one connection to the built-in speaker or the line out like that. But other than that, it doesn't require anything. It requires maybe a mindset of allowing oneself to explore. When I first started demoing this, I felt kind of pressure to accomplish something, or to people say, "Oh, can you make a techno song?" Or
right.
And of course, one can do that, but then it takes some patching. So it's more of just exploring sound creation, and so it's a much rawer and closer experience to sound than anything of these.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And another thing that we have here, just to move on, is the OB4, right?
Exactly.
Yes, and this box, just looks like a black box. So please tell us a little bit about it. I think it's really intriguing.
Right.
Yeah.
So like I said before, I was at one point head of sales for the music instruments, but we also have speakers that we do. And I wasn't aware of Carlson speakers when I was a kid, but maybe you were.
Yeah, I know those. Are these the kind of wooden?
Yeah, exactly. So especially the OD11 is a cube speaker that is placed in any ordinary living room that use the roof as a reflector because it plays up. And
I
when
actually have those.
Oh yeah,
home.
Right. And I see you smile. I see you have a relation with that.
Yeah.
When I first saw them, I was like, okay, looks cool, looks good. But then I heard them, and I mean, I feel it feels funny talking about a speaker because you have to listen to it, you have to hear it.
Yeah.
But I was blown away, and it's a Swedish. Stig Carlson is Swedish, and the Carlson company is Swedish company, and we love to work with the Swedish heritage of music engineering. So we did the OD11s, and we've also been wanting to do a portable speaker.
Right.
So this is also developed together with some of the Carlson Foundation, but it's more of our own product. So this is the OB4, which is a line-in Bluetooth radio and disc, we call it, speaker. So of course you can connect your phone like any Bluetooth speaker, but so line-in, you could line everything in here, and that's what I'm gonna do now that I get to do physical demos again.
Right.
So this will be my go-to boombox.
Yeah.
Let's put this. And then it has built-in radio. So, and the funny thing is that it records to the disc everything that's played through it. So you have like an instant quick memo for 2 hours that you can physically interact with.
Yes.
So you can loop and you can go back and forth and just a different way of interacting with recordings.
Yeah, sampling and looping, but from pre-existing things.
Exactly. Yeah. And then there's a mantra box called Karma inside, which is basically a collection of chants. And then there is the ambient mode, which is taking elements of the music and putting it through like an algorithm that makes it into an ambient music piece, basically.
So basically you could tune into the radio and then pick up something from there, and then it becomes this kind of ambient sound.
You could listen to Sjöväderrapporten in a whole new way, you know.
Okay,
so
that sounds cool.
Yeah, and the thing is, first and foremost, it's a good sounding speaker.
Yeah.
So and it's costly because the sound quality is amazing.
Yeah.
And people are used to seeing pocket operators or music instruments and such. But so this is a speaker that we personally listen to, because in Sweden we listen to the radio a lot. That is my impression, at least, because I do that. But I think it's radio has got a quite strong presence in Sweden.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
And as I said, me being still doing physical demos. I have to have something to play through, and that I'm going to use that.
Yeah.
But a funny thing that I can say about it is when the first time I heard it, just play any music.
Yeah.
It was a techno track, but I heard it in the office. We were sound testing, and I got inspired to the point that I wanted to make my own music because it sounded so good.
Yes.
So I love that feeling. Any feeling of inspiration is wonderful. Is it for everybody? No. If you're not in the market for radio, then maybe you don't need this. But if you are, then this might be the last one you get.
Exactly. Yeah. No, but I like that it kind of connects then and now in this very appealing form.
Right.
Yeah, it's intriguing, and that's what I like about it. It's not like something that you would expect,
right? Which is maybe something you could expect from us.
Yeah, exactly. By definition,
expect the unexpected. I mean, we try to bring smiles to people's faces. When we have trade shows, people come up to us and go like this, and then they leave with a big smile. And maybe it was for them, or maybe it's just a funny interaction they had for 5 minutes, but could also be a start of a lifelong career. Who knows?
That's very true.
So we're very serious, but we love to have fun while doing our stuff.
And just to get back a little bit to the OPZ.
Yes.
Could you tell us a little bit more about the functions of the cogwheels and so on? Because I'm quite intrigued by that as well. Just
right. So in the OP1 we have a built-in display. Here we don't. I talked about the challenge with components for a very long time and such. So we decided almost everybody has a lot of people have a smartphone.
Yeah.
So why don't we utilize what you already have in your pocket?
Right.
Then again, we decided to not require a display. Yeah. So everything is color coded. Everything is with different color LEDs. These wheels here, if I turn a parameter, you see maybe the green is...
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's flickering.
So then I know that that's neutral, or that's 50%, or that's, so... And I see the intensity of the LED goes down, and now it goes up as I turn it. So it's a very, very thought out tactical interface. So the ambition is that you should be able to do everything standalone.
Yeah.
That you could do with the display. I
I love that, because we're looking at displays all the time.
Exactly.
So I love anything that you can do just in an analog way without looking at a screen is great. And maybe you can show us a little bit about the sound and then the visualizer.
You can hold it, maybe.
Sure.
So if does it react now, right? Yeah, exactly.
I can hold it like this, maybe.
So this is all made in Unity, the graphical interface for this. So now I'm at the main OPC user interface for the synth. So I hold track. Can select another track, is snare, percussion, sample.
Can we turn on the sound a little bit?
Oh yeah,
through the Palm 400. That would be great. Just to see a little bit. All right, so there you see kind of the controls in some way. Yeah.
So if I turn the green here, I can see that the dial is going up and forward, or up and down. So here's the different. Let's start by showing that here we have different projects. The 1 to 10 are projects. I'll go to 0 because that's empty. I'll select my kick track. There we go.
Right.
That kick maybe. So the sound that I hear can be placed in the sequencer. Something like that.
Yeah.
And then
cool. And you also implemented this. Was it called Photogram? The function for
it's called Photomatic.
Photomatic. Yeah.
So let's see. I haven't checked my photos here. Maybe there we go.
Yeah.
So now if I press stop, I have different videos or photos that I can sequence.
Right.
Just like my music.
Right.
And now I only have a kick. Which was it? It's not linked to the track, but I'll do that. So I'll play that, and maybe this I want on the first step, and then I want this on the middle step here.
Right. Right.
So
and then you get a visual representation, but you can put anything in there, right?
Exactly. You could put in Photomatic. You can take photos from your device in real time. You can grab stuff off your photo reel or camera reel, which can be movies, short movies, and photos. If you want to go really deep,
sure, let's do it.
Then you can go to, where are we? Motion, it's called, and this is where you custom design your own, your completely your own interface. So this is a kind of a driver's cockpit or something.
Okay, so you can put like 3D objects and stuff like that.
And this is also made in Unity, so it's a container within the Unity software, basically.
Very cool. I think this aspect is very interesting, that you can do your own kind of visualizer.
And you could, it's two-way also, so you can make stuff happening there control the sound.
Okay.
So you could make interfaces like buttons and sliders and whatever. You could also do physical modeling maybe. So there's a thing here called the tombola sequencer in the OP1. Where you drop notes and then it spins, and whenever the note kind of ball hits a wall, it makes a sound. Some actually Cuckoo made a version of the tombola sequencer for the OPC. So you can basically make your own sequencers for the OPC in Unity, which is a free software that anybody can download. And if you have a lot of time, then you could.
That is awesome. I really like that.
Yeah.
Let's see. Maybe you can put that over here.
So and then also it allows DMX control. Which is, controlling studio lights or club lights or smoke machines, and even that can be sequenced.
That's very cool. So as a performer, you can kind of gain some of that visual control as well.
And it has a microphone.
Okay,
so
perfect.
Cool. So
it's really nice that you can have this little baseline module that is just analog, and then you add on these things to it.
Right. Yeah. So that's the OPZ. So comparing these two, this is sequencer focused. This is synthesizer focused, but they can do similar things, even though this can do other stuff that this can't. But so sound design, I'd say the OP1 is still the strongest. But I think since this is quite complex, or it's quite, I'd say complex. People are getting into it and figuring out the sequencer, which is amazing, and kind of forget about the sound design.
Right.
So, but as people go deeper and deeper, they will reach new levels of sound design as well with using the OPZ. And it's wonderful to be able to see what people come up with and to share that.
Definitely. You also brought one other little pocket operator. Yes. I think maybe you could just show that one as well, because that's quite cool.
Yeah. So, like I said, I didn't bring actually any of our official 9 ones, but so we've been making some collaboration ones before as well. So this is the PO 137, the Rick and Morty edition, and it was Johan of Jam. Who introduced me to the Rick and Morty show. I was there one day, and he was watching it in the store, and I had to, I didn't get it at first. But then I watched the show and I loved it. So this was a few years ago, and then as I was working with support and also monitoring our Instagram a bit. We got a message from this Justin Roiland character.
Oh, really?
Saying, "Hey guys, I love you. I love what you're doing."
He's the creator of the show, basically, right? Yeah.
And I found that out. I wasn't aware, but I read his message, and basically he said he wanted to work together in some way. Maybe do a pocket operator or something. And then I picked up that ball and then passed it on internally, and some time later, maybe a year or a year and a half or so, we had a pocket operator.
That's amazing.
Which is based on another one that we already have developed by together with Magnus Lidström of Sonic Charge, which is the PO35 Speak.
So that's basically it's more of a voice sampler.
Yes, exactly.
Is that correct?
It's a voice synthesizer. You record your voice and it translates your voice into to tonal synthesis, basically using like phone technology.
Cool. Yeah.
But all the 9 ones and all the 3 different ones are sequencers with 16-step buttons, some effects and chainable patterns and such. So if you know one, you can very easily approach the other.
Yes. And they're also designed in a way that you can kind of interconnect them, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So they all have a line in and a line out.
Yeah.
And then by using any stereo cable, you could connect them together and synchronize them. And the fact that it is so bare bones is, of course, we can sell separate cases like this,
right?
But it's not needed, and you can use it just like this. But it also enables other people to start businesses around this,
right?
So people can make their own cases. They can make their own modifications. So there's a arcade style button mod.
Okay.
So it gets like a big, kind of almost MPC style sequencer that was developed by Ali Mobs in Japan. And so we love that as well. People can be able to make some money off of our products in many ways.
And just a fun question, like you personally, like if you count the hours, which instrument do you think you played with most of all of these?
OP1, definitely.
The OP1, yeah.
But recently, oh no, this is going. Recently, I'd say OPZ.
Okay.
Because I'm a drum machinist.
Yes.
And I love sequencers. So for me, I love control, but I also love to be flexible and have the ability to escape the grid.
Yeah.
So I don't have to be so static or, and this allows me to do that very much. I love some of the electron stuff. My favorite drum machine from them is the machine drum.
Yes.
But that,
great one.
Yeah, it is. But it's since it's the older one, it's still locked into the grid, and of course there are ways to escape it.
Yeah.
But that was the only thing that I missed. Then the newer ones, they have it, but still like the old. And then using this together with any other stuff basically is so much fun. So I'm actually right now putting up my studio gear again, and can't wait to make those records again.
Get back to music production.
Yes, definitely.
There was one other thing we didn't discuss. When the time when you did a collaboration with Ikea, that was for the speaker Frekvens, is that correct?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It
also,
was
how did that come about? Just.
We have been friends with them as well, and we actually, I forgot what position he had. We had people coming from Ikea to work with us, actually.
Okay.
But so I'm not sure exactly how that started.
Yeah.
But so we did a collaboration called Frekvens, which was a set of items designed to allow anybody to have a great house party.
Yeah, right.
So lights, speakers, and stuff like that. Which I thought was going to be a permanent collection, but apparently it was a limited one.
More limited, yeah.
We were involved. We did the design, but we weren't involved in the selling and the marketing.
The rest. No, you just did the back
Exactly.
end part kind of it. Yeah.
And we've done some of some
some collaborations like that.
Exactly. Throughout the years. And there are definitely very interesting stuff coming up.
Cool.
So even though we've been around for 10 years, I do not see us ending anytime soon. It's
that's very exciting.
Yeah. I mean, when I was asked how big do we want to be as a company? Because last year we grew a bit. We grew quite a lot. But we also had to cut back because of the situation, the world situation. So my vision is for us to be a longer company than a bigger company.
Yes.
I mean, staying on for a long time, doing what we love and doing it very well, and try to, if we, learn by whatever we do. So just improve all the time, but not necessarily be the big major company. That's never been our goal.
There's usually a compromise when it comes to freedom.
Right, exactly.
Happens. So there's always like this line.
And we've been exploring all paths. So I mean, things happen for a reason, and some financial, the word I'm going to say, but is didn't happen. But maybe that was for the better.
For the best. For sure. And I think it's so exciting now at this kind of point of 10 years of the company. You've been around the company for about 10 years as well,
exactly.
and seeing where it goes.
June 21st is my 10-year anniversary with Teenage Engineering.
Cool. I think we can end on that note, and maybe you can just tell us, like, if we want to follow up and see the upcoming stuff happening, or see you talk about the products more, where can you go?
Definitely. So our main website is teenage.engineering. That's where we put out most of the stuff, or all the stuff. But then specifics, usually we're quite active on the Instagram at Teenage Engineering. We have a Twitter as well. But mostly Instagram and Facebook. I do a streaming show called Midnight Operations on YouTube.
Okay.
And we also have a education platform on YouTube, or like a separate channel from the main one.
Excellent.
Where we are bringing in TE operators, our global users, and also the mentors that we employ. But I'd say the website and Instagram, then you're safe. And then sign up for a newsletter, and then you'll be all set.
Perfect. We'll make sure to link all of that below, so anyone can just get to that. And with that, thank you so much, Tobias, for coming today.
Tack så mycket.
Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. It was great fun. And
and we'll keep on playing a little bit with this after
let's
as
do
well.
That. Let's. Oh yeah, actually, the one of the most fun things with the Pocket Operator Modular 400, when I've demoed it, I made the first connection maybe. So okay, we got sound.
Yeah.
But then I hand you the cables.
Yeah.
And we patched together.
Yeah.
That's been amazing to watch and to observe people who have never touched stuff like that.
And that's the cool thing too, with having a kind of a bigger interface as well, that is more prone to like doing stuff. You could do it more together,
exactly.
I guess. Yeah.
So we'll got to end now so we can patch it.
We'll do that for the next sequence.
Exactly.
Thank you so much, Tobias.
Absolutely.
And that was it for episode 10 of Electronic Talks podcast. I want to take the opportunity to thank everyone who's been tuning in for the first 10 episodes. We will keep on going, and we'll release another episode next week. So stay tuned, subscribe, and we'll see you soon. Thank you.